and drop your intro.
You've now tuned in to the Drawing Board Podcast, a powerful, thought-provoking discussion where we talk about family, relationships, ministry, community, and career. Let's see what exciting guests we have on our show today.
Welcome to the Drawing Board Podcast. This is your host, Andre Ebron. I am so excited to be here tonight. There are so many things happening across the world, in our nation, particularly in Metro Detroit. There are so many things that we can talk about, but here's what we do in the Drawing Board Podcast. We talk about family, relationships, ministry, community, and career. We are here for the social uplift of all people. We are here to encourage and motivate and inspire, bring people to a point where they can make concrete decisions about their future. And as I always say, to go in the direction of their destiny. I want to take a moment and thank our sponsors, Ebron and Associates, a consulting firm for human service professionals and educators. No, that's the old vision, where we consult, develop, and support personal organizational transformation. If you know anything about business, you know that you go through many iterations of your vision, of your mission, of your values, of your ethos. And so what I was sharing is, here's what we have to do, is that when we consult, develop, and support, we partner with you for your future. We partner with you for your need. And we also want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, the Viger Group. Please check them out at thevigergroup.com. Now, tonight is extra special. I've been trying to get this young lady on the show for the last year and a half, and tonight we are blessed to have her presence with us. Drawing Board Nation, please help me welcome Miss LaTanya L. Garth. Welcome, Tanya.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having me.
Now, listen, you have so much going on. I want to introduce to some and present you to others. Motivated to encourage the lives of people who desire change. From now on, from this interview, I'll be calling Miss Garth. Listen, Miss, I want change. How about you? Listen, that is how she's going to start it, all right? And I love that because it provokes you to thought. It is a call to action. But let me tell you about LaTanya's objective. Her objective is to help people save their own lives. Wow. Some people are waiting for somebody to save them, but you're there to help them save their own lives. Now, let me ask you, before I go into the rest of your bio, like what provoked that when you say to help people save their own lives? Break that down for me.
Yep. So when I talk about helping people save their own lives, we have a generation of lost people. And sometimes they just need someone to listen to so that we can redirect them and transform them back to thinking positive and knowing that they are fearfully and wonderfully made and that they are somebody. So right in that space where you feel like you're being lost, I kind of want to jump in like Superwoman and kind of help you save yourself. And so there's been times in my life where I've lost focus, and there were people that God has put back into my life to bless me and to get me back on the right track. And so I just pay it forward, you know. And so because I've been saved through a lot of stuff, I want to be able to do the same for other people.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. And according to your bio, plus I'm aware of your body of work, you do this through the core beliefs and core focus of mentorship, commitment, leadership, integrity, and education. It says that LaTanya received her bachelor's degree in communication and a master's degree in higher education from Michigan State University. I'm really not a Spartan, but I'll go ahead and shout it out because I know that you feel it. Go green.
Go white.
All right, there you go. Yep, she is a true advocate of all facets of education as a certified life coach, business consultant, certified public speaker and facilitator, and business owner managing multiple entities in education, PR, and mentoring to fulfill her entrepreneurial endeavors. So now let me ask you a question. With everything that we have, especially because you have a focus in education, which the educational system has been impacted by COVID-19. You have a focus in PR, which now we have, with all of these social inequities, the right messaging getting out there from governing bodies which we do know not happening. The messaging that's going out right now is extremely inappropriate. If they're looting, we're shooting. Like these messages that are going out are further traumatizing the nation as a whole. Let me ask you a question. As a mentor, as a leader, what actions are you taking to fill the voids, particularly in education? What actions are you currently taking to fill the void for the young people that follow you?
I really just need to be the example. We talk about change in the community, and I've seen the protests, and I'm really promoting a peaceful protest. I understand that, people are upset and they want to fight and they want to burn stuff up and they want to do all of these different things to get their point across. But I believe in getting a point across with intellect. I really do believe that education is critical. If you think about like back during the civil rights movement, we were denied our rights to read and write. We were denied our rights to vote. We were denied our rights as women to even wear pants, so there are so many different things that we've come so far from, and I get that, it's still going on, but it has gotten better over time. And I believe that the reason why things have gotten better over time is because there were people that were activists for our community that were educated and they were civil and they went in and they handled things in a manner of saying, you know what, you might look at me like I'm ignorant because I'm some ignorant Negro or whatever you think I am, but don't get it twisted because I have education. And so I believe that the fight needs to be more intellectually done, as opposed to going out doing physical things. And so, I'm big on conflict resolution, when it comes to our youth. So of course I'm teaching them like, this is why it's important for us to be educated. This is why it's important for you to go to school and pay attention. This is why it's important for you to pay attention in economics class and in government so you can understand what's going on in the system. Now I'm all down for fighting, but I'm going to fight with a pen and a paper on pen, with a pen in my hand and on paper, or use my voice that I have to do it in a way that it's not gonna cause me to have to physically fight. The Bible says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So while we going out trying to riot and fight with our fists and hurt people, that doesn't solve the problem. This is spiritual warfare. And so, I'm down for taking a knee. I'm also down for getting on my knees and praying to God because I know God is the one that's going to bring us through this. And so really just educating our youth, like, look, that ain't the way to go, and really just teaching them to be cognizant about the fact that, yes, we do have this racial thing going on right now. I get it. But we also have this invisible enemy out here too, so we got to be real cognizant of the fact that COVID is still running around trying to attack as many people as possible, so we're fighting against not just racial inequities, but we're fighting against a virus that's unknown, that's uncertain. All this stuff is uncertain, and so just teaching them to do it, but do it peacefully, do it with your mindset.
Yeah, I firmly agree with you. When we think about the protest of the civil rights movement, the protest, it was a portion, it was a segment, a greater plan. It was strategic. It was enduring. It was not just a result of anger. It was a part of a greater plan. And I was having a discussion with one of my buddies, and one thing that I pointed out to them, we were kind of debating back and forth. I said, if you remember, there was no social media then. There wasn't a way of really getting the word out other than by word of mouth, right? Mm-hmm. Or by telephone. There was no way to draw national attention to the issues. And so that's why galvanizing large groups of people that could not be denied called forth the attention of the nation. It was one of those things to say, you're going to stop, you're going to pay attention. Media coverage was given, but now we have the power of technology to do some things, right? And so protesting is a portion of just galvanizing the attention. So now the question becomes, once you get the attention, then what's next, right? Mm-hmm. Like that is where the strategy comes. And one of the things I've been watching you is that when you see a void, especially as it relates to young people, with your mentoring program, the Imagine mentoring program is encourage youth and adult learners about the importance of education, increasing their self-esteem, living life to the fullest. When I think about your commencement speech that you did yesterday, shout out to you for that. Let's give, thank God for that. And wherever you see a void, you create an opportunity. Where does that mindset come from?
I really believe that, people take issues that they go through and they use it as a crutch for them not to succeed. And so I try to be the example to teach them, like, we have to get to a point where the issues that you went through was designed to teach you a lesson. I firmly believe that everything that we go through because it's designed for us to go through. It happens because it's supposed to happen. It was already written. God knows every mistake that we're going to make before we make it. And so it's not really a mistake. It's really an opportunity for you to learn. And how do you take what you've gone through or something that makes you fearful? You become educated. And that's why I always tell people, I will not let my ignorance, arrogance, or fear get in the way of the life I know I can have. And so the worst thing a person can do when they're ignorant is remain ignorant. And so the reason why we make mistakes is because we're ignorant of that certain situation and we need to be educated about it. And so I like to get educated about things and learn from things that I may have made mistakes from, because I'm not perfect, nobody's perfect. And then try to find a way to use that as a stepping stool to move forward. It's like, I don't like to see people sit back and say, yeah, something happened to me 20 years ago, and then they're still talking about it. And then the misery builds up and then they become bitter. And it's like, that probably was your ministry, for you to get that lesson from it and to be able to teach somebody else not to go down that path.
That's good. I love the way that you framed it. You said mistakes are not really mistakes. They're just opportunities to learn.
Yeah.
And that is a whole paradigm shift as it relates to parenting, as it relates to educators that have scholars before them, as it relates to just social interaction and relationships, is that when people fail to meet your expectation, or they make a mistake, or they're ignorant of your need, or they're ignorant of the current situation. Ignorant meaning they just lack the knowledge, right? So the Bible clearly says that my people are destroyed for a what? Lack of knowledge. And so when you see destruction, when you see famine, when you see pestilence, all of those things that the Bible talks about, it means that there is a lack of revelation in that area, knowledge or inspiration to move that people forward. So talk to me about the Imagine Mentoring program, like where, mentoring, making it to mentor and deposit truth into the lives of others, to come alongside of them. And you say you will not let your ignorance, arrogance, or fear stop you from living the life that you can have. That's powerful. Like, how do motivation come for you? So talk to motivators, right? I'm around them. I'm surrounded by them. And where does your motivation come from?
My motivation comes from adversity. And so,
break that down.
There's a saying that adversity introduces a man to himself. And so through my trials and tribulations and things that I've gone through, because I've been through a lot that I have never talked about as much, I believe that that's the reason why Imagine was birthed. When it comes to Imagine and the power in that program, I know it's God. I know it has nothing to do with me. The proclamation that I wrote, it came to me in one day. The program and what it stands for, and the entire concept of that program came to me in one day. It was just like, the scripture says, write the vision and make it plain. I mean, I wrote the vision. It wouldn't stop. It just kept spilling. And I would wake up out my sleep. God would wake me up. You need to do this, do these events. And so all these different events. And then I would pray for those who were hurting, because there were times where I was hurting.
Yeah.
I want to be in a space where I'm not hurting anybody. I want to be able to be a vessel to help people heal, or be a resource to help people heal. And I think that's really what it is. And a lot of the reasons why our community is hurting and why our youth are hurting is because they have hurt mothers, they have hurt fathers, and hurt people. But we have to change the trajectory of their mindset by teaching them that you can't go that way. There's another route to your happiness. There's a way that you can capitalize, not financially, but just mentally on your trauma, and live a happy life. you know, and so that's really the goal, is to help people understand that, you know, if you've been chasing your tail for 10 years or 5 years and going in the same circle over and over again, it's because there's something wrong, and you have to change directions. And so that might be where you might have to do a paradigm shift in your mind in order to understand why you went through what you went through, and then how do you take what you went through and move forward to the next level.
Now, I want to throw this question out there to you. It's a question that it's been contemplated by philosophers. Of course, there's biblical foundation for this, but in mentoring, because a lot of times people run these three things together and they're not the same. So when you think about counseling, when you think about mentoring, and you think about coaching, those are three very separate functions, right?
Yeah.
So my question for you is, how do you help a man holding no gender, holding no age, holding no socioeconomic status, just the pure, so let me say a human, how do you help a human change their mind?
Yep, and it's all about taking time out and really just teaching them that they have to take time out to be able to do the work. You know, it's like I can sit in your face all day long. It's no different than, you know, a child and their mom, and they're telling them the right thing to do, but they're still not doing the right thing. But they can go to me and I tell them the same thing mom told them, and they listen, right?
Right.
And so it's no different. I always tell people that I coach adults and I mentor youth. You know, counseling, that's a totally different ball game from mentoring and coaching. Coaching, when you're dealing with counseling and therapists, that's because there are some more deep-rooted issues that more specialized people can work with. But when you're just talking about just making a mind shift and dealing with the psyche, I can help you with that, you know, because there's been times where, you know, I think when people have the life experience and they can relate and say, I've been in that dark space before, you know, in whatever capacity it is. If I've been in a space that wasn't so well and I was able to get out of it, let me help you get out of yours, you know. And so people want that. They want to know, how the heck did she go from that to that? You know, like, wow, like. And so it's like, well, if you want it, then you're going to learn these principles. You're going to have to understand identifying what your problem is or what it is that make you feel the way that you feel. Why do you feel that way in your mind? And so I just let people talk. You know, I try to help them get to the root of why they feel the way that they feel. I talk about like what their motivators are, just to get them motivated. And so I always throw the motivator back at them and say, you know, that the reason why you need to get to point C is because of point B, because you just said that this matters to you. So let's focus on what matters, and we need to get your mind focused on what matters. And so when we start thinking about what matters as opposed to what didn't matter, you know, people take issues that they go through and they magnify it. And so I always try to coach them and say, you know, if you magnify purpose and not the issue that's causing you to be stagnant, then you'll be in a much better space.
That's good. Magnify the purpose, not the issue.
Yeah.
That's good. So now segueing that, so that is how you influence a person's mind to begin to change. How do you get people to confront how they feel? Because have you ever been in a position where you have the information, you know exactly what decision that you should make, but emotionally, you're just not there. Yeah. Like, even though you have all of the information, the deck is stacked for you to make a qualitative decision, but emotionally, I'm just not there. How do you help someone go from changing their mind to now changing how they feel, regulating their emotions?
I just sit there and listen to them. Sometimes they just need to, it depends on what kind of mood they in. If they feeling like, then I'm gonna go in like, how can I help? You know, I'm going to give you the same thing you give me, right? And I always
keep that same energy, right?
Yeah, my energy come off your energy. So if you coming in here like excited about changing, let's make something happen. Let's go with these strategies. But if you sit up here talking about, I don't want to, okay, well, let's take it slower then. Let's go at a slower pace. Why don't you want to? What's wrong? And my biggest question is why. So when it's time to dig and get to the root of what you're dealing with, I'm gonna keep asking you why. And to the point where you're like, dang, why you keep asking me why? And every time when I get done, I got a whole list of whys, and I'm almost at the root. So keep going, because I'm keep asking you why. Why? You know, and so just really making people see that side of it, because really at the end of the day, it's like there are so many great blessings in life that comes from our lessons, and people block their blessings because they never got the lesson. And it's like, I want you to get to the root of what you're dealing with, so you could see that, you know, if I get over this hump, there's a whole plethora of blessings waiting on me, you know, and I got to get there, but it starts right here.
Absolutely.
It starts in the mind.
It starts in the mind. And so now that sounds like you're encouraging people to keep going.
Yep.
And you are the author of the book, Keep Going. The Dream is Enough.
Yes.
Listen, that is a mouthful, because I think about Paul Moore's song about, he's reflecting on what his younger self, would his younger self be disappointed in where he is now? I can't think of the title of the song, but when you say the dream is enough, like children like see themselves either as superheroes, or they see themselves as having a superpower or having an extra ability to accomplish and achieve until someone convinces them otherwise. So keep going. The dream is enough. Tell me, why is this book important, and what was missing from the conversation of the inspirational, motivational, revelatory books that are out there? Why is this book necessary?
This book is necessary for a lot of reasons. I had a tough time when I lost my mother. She passed away some time ago. We were very, very, very close. And so a lot of people don't know this, but if you look at the book cover, she's right here. She's like a little spirit looking down on me. And so I love that part of it. But when I lost her, I had an event for Imagine. It was one of my galas, annual galas I do. And I didn't want to do it because my mother, this would be the first event I would have with my mother not being present. And it was just really, really hard. And so that night before the event, I went to sleep and had a dream. And so I want you to picture this. There is a whole bunch of people in a cafeteria setting. And you know how, like, when we were kids, you could take a nap at school and you had the little cots or whatever. Right. There were cots with dead people laying on these cots. And I'm like, what the heck? So I see my mom and I run over there. I said, Mom. She used to call me every single day and say, I love you, every single day. But the last time she called, I didn't answer the phone because I was mad at her because we got into it about a vacuum cleaner and I should have answered the phone. So that was one of my regrets of not picking the phone up. But in the dream, I was like, oh, I can say, I love you. I can say, I love you. She gonna wake up. So I ran over there. I said, Mom, I love you. I love you. And she rose up about 10 seconds later. And she looked at me. She said, you know that scripture in the Bible that say, train up a child in the way that he should go? I said, yeah. She said, you keep going. You keep going. And she laid back down to death. And my mother has not come back to me since. But I've been moving ever since, you know. And so that dream got me out of a dark place. I was in a really, really dark place. But the dream that she gave me, it ignited something in me. And, you know, when people, you know, sometimes when people's parents pass away, they look for a financial inheritance. Like, I didn't need any of that. Like, the dream was enough. Like, the dream she gave me can carry me for the rest of my life. I mean, the stuff that I had went through after she passed away, becoming a motherless mom, a single mother, then a motherless mother. I mean, it was difficult, but I have to keep going. Like, I have to train up my daughter in the way that she could go, and I got to keep it moving. And so the book is awesome because the dream, it helped me to write the book. But then in the book, I realized you're working with all of these youth, you're empowering a lot of people. I need to let them know not only was my dream enough, but your dream is enough too. Like, yes. You have dreams too. And so that dream that my mom gave me was enough for me, and my daughter confirmed it. She said, Mom, the dream your mom gave you was enough for you. That's it, you know. And so my daughter's 6 and she talks to me like she's 55, you know. Yeah. And so
I read the comments of the conversations that you all have on a regular.
Yeah, she's definitely old, so I love her though. It's like my mom all over again. In fact, the day that my daughter was born, the due date that my daughter was born was the day my mother died. And so it's definitely a spiritual thing there. But yeah, so with the book, it's done very well. And to be able to impact youth and letting them know that you have dreams and it's enough, regardless of what anybody say about your dream, the dream that you have, that you think about the most, that you want to act on the most, that's what you want. That's enough for you. That's your purpose. Go for it, And so it has been able to not only help me, but it has been used as a catalyst to inspire as many people that come in contact with me.
Awesome. You brought up a point, and I am
You froze up on me there.
all right. I don't know what happened there, but I'm back. All right.
Okay.
So yeah. So I think it's because the point was so powerful it got interrupted. That's what we go with, right? But what I was saying is that there's an audience out there who needs to process and need inspiration and motivation and encouragement and support because they are journeying through the pathway of motherhood without the guidance of their mother. And I think that that's powerful. That's something for you to unpack because clearly you're doing an awesome job. Because when I look at listen to the conversations and I look at the fact that your daughter's an entrepreneur now and she has her own business that she's running, when she's free to think and free to question and free to interrogate and survey her own mind and have her own opinion and own thoughts, that lets me know that young person, someone that has affirmed that your thoughts have value.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I just wanted to stop there and say, I don't know what you would do with that, or even when you would do it. You know what I mean? Because the Lord will lead and He will guide. But I do know when you said I started not just as a single parent, but in that moment I also became a motherless mother. Like that is that. Listen, I don't know if you've written anything about that, but that's powerful. You need to write something about that. And so that when you said that, I was like, whoa. And it brings me to, I'm on a panel in a couple of weeks talking about fatherless homes. And I think about how many became fatherless fathers. Navigating, through I won't call them mistakes. I'll just call them opportunities to learn, like you said.
Yeah.
And the question that the men have to ask themselves is, am I enough without the stuff?
Ooh, that's good. And that's, and that's why I want to go back to the things that's going on right now in our community, like the things that's going on with the racial profiling. Like, we can't afford any more fatherless fathers. Like, we can't afford that. So there has to be policy, there has to be intellect, there has to be things that we do to train up our youth so that they understand, like, the right way to go about this is to really show them, like, we know we a strong race, right? We know we have the potential. Look at all of the things that our African Americans had invented. So we have the power to learn. We have the power. The things that were stripped away from us, that's what we need to be fighting for, to get back educated, get the books, read the books, learn how to make change in the community through using your mind, through using your intellect, not this. See, people use their fists because they feel like, if I don't have the intellect because I lack the thing, because I'm ignorant in that area, this is my defense mechanism. And that's why we got fatherless fathers. You know what I mean? And so it's like there has to be a shift somewhere where we bring them back to understanding, like, look, our African Americans don't have to be educated in normal schools no more. We don't have to go to school inside of a garage. We can go to a university now, any university, and be able to become educated enough to make change in the community. And so, and when we have change, and when we have intellect, and when we're doing things the right way, and we're showing people, like, look, not only can you be educated, I can be educated too. Not only can you make change, I can make change too. And so we got to draw them back to education. We have to.
Yeah, I firmly agree with you. And I think that we have relegated education to what's provided by the educational. I think that education it transcends the boundaries of a class. It is life lessons on a daily basis. Yep. It is the wisdom of our elders. Yep. It is that's when you saw people drawing a distinction between those who are street smart and those who are book smart. Mm-hmm. And really what you need is a combination of the two. Mm-hmm. And so that I got with am I enough without the stuff? That's a brother named Quentin, who has a podcast called Manology. And so we were talking literally about, like, shifting the mindsets, examining not just what we think, but why we think what we think. So I'm going to play the it's called the 5 Whys, right? So I'm going to play the 5 Whys with you, right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. This is something new. I'm trying it.
Okay.
All right. So why is intellect the strongest weapon against our current social inequities and social injustice? Why is intellect the strongest weapon?
Because when God created Adam and he breathed into Adam, he gave Adam his mind. And God, you get what I mean? Like, the mindset was created by our God. Like, he wants us to think at a whole nother level. Like, we don't, T.J. Jake said so well, like, we don't have to entertain people that's turtles when we eagles, or we the giraffe. Like, we have, like, when we tap into the mind of God, the mind that he gave us and how we were created in his image. So that means we have everything that he has. He's given it to us. He's given us the power. He's given it to us, and so our intellect comes from being able to understand the things that he's given us and being able to use what he's given us to move forward, to operate in our purpose, to be able to fight these different things that's going on. We got to use intellect. Like, there's no other way. And like, when you have your intellect, then your intellect's going to teach you to get into your word. And then your word is going to teach you how strong you are and how you fight these battles through prayer. The intellect is critical. Like, there's no other way to learn it. There's no other way to learn how to be great. There's no other way to learn how to make your community great again. Or you can't do it with this. That's why they had us in shackles years ago, because of this. At the end of the day, it's all fear. Like, Black people, they're afraid to go into white neighborhoods because they don't want to get pulled over by the police. White folks scared because they scared if a Negro get out and get loose, I don't know if I can deal with these. So if I ain't got the intellect, then I'm going to use this because I know that this is what you said of. But really, at the end of the day, I'm scared. I'm scared. And so it's like we got to be able to kill that fear. But the only way that to kill fear is through facts. The only way to get facts is through education. That's why intellect is critical.
That's good. You said the only way to kill fear is through facts. And the only way to obtain facts is through education.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, question. Is there a difference between natural fear and the spirit of fear?
Yep. Yep, it is. Fear, when we look at it from a natural standpoint, is false expectations appearing real, right? So we could be afraid of a thing, and it actually could be something that's very harmless. We're afraid of it because we're not educated about it. You get what I mean? So that's why when I talk about how facts kill fear, now when you're looking at it from a spiritual standpoint, in Proverbs, it talks about how the beginning of fear is wisdom, or the beginning of wisdom is fear. Something, don't quote me, but it talks about having the fear of God, and so like we have to learn God. We have to learn him. And when we learn God, he teaches us to be obedient. Like he teaches us that, that he sent our comforter for us, and so all of these things just come from, like, that's why I'm like, people are outraged and stuff, but it's like, if we just understand that God's going to take care of that thing, like however he take care of that man for what he did to George Floyd, it's going to get handled. Like, God ain't gonna just let something like that just happen. Like, people don't get away with doing things that's wrong and not get beat up by God. Like, that's the worst butt whooping you would ever want. So being obedient is what would get you away from, not being so not putting yourself in positions to do things that's not right. So when you align with God and you doing things his way, you're gonna fear the Lord, so you're not gonna be out here trying to kill people.
Right. Yeah. One of the things that, and like I was on a interview yesterday, I told him, I said, I'm gonna take it a little hood for a second. I said, the only thing that I was ever taught to fear was to fear the Lord. I said, if somebody breathes like you and if they bleed like you, there's no reason to not fear man. Now, of course, there are circumstances, there are situations, and I was being taught this lesson by my older family members that went through Jim Crow, that went through the different racial oppression, that understood at a time they had to be better than their best to replace their worst. And so when they were teaching me this, they were teaching me this from the construct of saying that God created you in his likeness, in his image. Don't let anyone strip your personal power to be based upon their fear of your greatness. One of the things I have to ask you, and I think there's a difference, but I want to ask you about it. Do you think there's a difference between justice and vengeance?
That's a good one. I had never thought about that. I know that the word says vengeance is mine, and that's from God, and justice is served. And so I think that God is the vengeance, that when he say vengeance is mine, that's what he's saying. Like, you ain't got to fight this thing. You don't fight this. This is a spiritual thing. I don't need your physical fists to fight anything. I need you to understand that I got this. The word says, cast your cares on me, for I care for you. Like, God's telling you, cast your cares on me. Give it to me. Not, like I'm saying, a peaceful protest, great. But all the other stuff, give that stuff to God. Let him do it. Like, you can't fight that battle. I just look at a lot of people that's sending out messages and they're irate, and I'm just looking at them like, oh, your blood pressure is sky high. Like, you was upset for what, when you could put all that energy into your prayer and let God fight that thing. Because you can get out there and fight John Doe, but it's still going on 20 miles up the street. It's still going on in another state. It's still, you know what I mean? And so the way that we're going to have to attack this thing again is through intellect. Like, that's the only way. And so, like, this whole thing of, everything that's going on, God, the Lord says, vengeance is mine. Like, God got this. We're going to get the glory in the end. God's going to get the glory in the end from all of this.
Yeah, I firmly believe that. And when I think about like the programs that you have, when I think about the mission and the goals and the vision that you have set out, where you're causing people to dream again, where you're causing them to imagine a better life than the one that they currently have, like literally, we have the ability to go into our future, to take hold of our dreams and goals, bring it to our present, and then start walking out the steps of faith to make it happen. And I think there are people, and even where we are with this racial injustice, social inequities, I think what people want is immediate justice. I think they want immediate results. I think they want change now, right? And if you were to ask people, because we have a right to be upset. We have a right to be mad, but the Bible says be angry, but what?
Anxious.
Not, right? Yeah. So we can be angry, but don't take action that will violate his word, right? And that's what for us who believe. Here's the challenge is, how do we articulate to those who have this mindset, to those who are uncertain or ignorant, that the change that we want to see systemically, I'm not just talking about racial peace, I'm talking about overall, is a process. How important is the process in the work that you do?
Yep, and that's what I always teach people. Like, you can come in my session, but don't think that you're going to have a changed mindset when you leave out. You know what I mean? Like, because it's a process. It takes time. Now, there could be some things that I could say that's going to trigger you, that's going to make you think about, oh, I need to start thinking in that direction. Yeah, I'll give you that when you come. But overall, if you want this to be a paradigm shift that's going to help you and shape your life so that you can reimagine and you can live a better life, then there is a process, and it's going to take work. It's no different than I see a therapist, and I don't see anything wrong with it, because I feel like when I'm working with people, when I'm working with youth, I'm working with adults, and they dump so much on me, I got to dump this somewhere else, because I can't hold all of that in. And so I feel like, even when I'm working with her, she said, this is a process. It's going to be a process. Now we're going to move in steps. We're going to move in steps. And you got to think, everything that God created, he created in steps. He created a strategy from day one, from when he created the heavens and the earth. Day 2, day 3, day 4, there was a strategy. Everything that he does is strategic. Just like when he gave Adam the Garden of Eden, he said, your job is to dress it and keep it. Then once he saw that Adam was doing that, he said, now it's not good for man to be alone. I'll send you and help me, right? It was a strategy. And so that's the same thing that happens when it comes to our everyday life. It's the same thing that happens when with everything that's going on right now. Everything is a process. Everything. And if we move like God moves, we always going to be all right. We always going to be okay when we move like he instructs us to move. When you start doing things on your own and understanding that, oh, I want instant gratification, or I'm going to do things the way I want to do it right now, then you're going to find yourself hitting the wall. You're going to find yourself hitting the wall, and you're going to be in that dark space again. And so that's why the process is so critical, and really like paying attention to getting to the root of really what you're dealing with, so that you really can have change and it can be consistent.
Good. So now I'm going to place a demand upon the gift on your life. And because, the drawing board, it's powerful that challenges people to examine their life and, watch this, reimagine the possibilities.
Wow.
I always ask people this question, particularly when it comes to relationships. Have you exhausted all of the opportunities that exist? Have you exhausted all of the possibilities that exist within your current opportunity? Because that is what you challenge people to think. Because most times when people are ready to throw their hands up, be done, wash their hands, walk away, the question is, have you exhausted all of the possibilities that exist within your opportunities? And most times people, almost 99% of the time, people say, no, I haven't. And so here's what I'm going to ask you to do for that person who is on the verge or on the ledge of getting ready to jump into their next phase of life. So, I relaunched 2020 at the beginning of this week, right? Mm-hmm. So they're getting ready to imagine greater possibilities. They are ready to keep going because their dream is enough. They're ready. You just wrote another book too. I'm on a roll. Hold on. We're going to get the second title. We're going to imagine our life, your life, Imagine your life when you demand greatness during a crisis. They're doing that right now. I need you to speak to them, articulate to them, encourage them, motivate, shake them up, be that point of provocation. Go ahead.
Can you imagine your life when you demand greatness? I mean, can you just imagine how beautiful your life could be if you could just think about the possibilities and knowing that you can do all things? You can do all things. That's right. You don't have to give up on yourself. You don't have to give up on your dreams. You don't have to give up on your thoughts. You don't have to give up on your purpose. All you need to do is imagine your life when you demand greatness. Not just even during a crisis, but every single day. Wake up, empower yourself. Tell yourself that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Tell yourself that you're somebody. Speak life into yourself. Make yourself great. This life that you have it's just a minute. It's only 60 seconds in it. And so you have to take the life that you have and live in freedom every day. Life is an acronym. L, live, I, N, F, freedom, and E, every day. Live in freedom every last single day, but it starts in the mind. I desire change. Do you?
I told you, I desire change. Do you? Let's go. I don't know about you, but I'm fired up. Listen, I'm living in freedom every single day. Listen, if Jesus Christ has freedom from the curse of the law of sin and death, if our ancestors, I told people, I said, my rights, my liberties, my freedom, they are blood with the blood of my ancestors. How dare I insult them by living in fear of anything that may happen?
Yeah.
That is another, listen, and I understand, trust me, I understand what's happening to our brothers out there. I understand what's happening into the lives of our community. But if I live in timidity, if I don't live boldly, then guess what? You won't get the best of me anyway.
Yep.
I know how to be respectful, but I also know how to affirm who I am.
Yep.
I am not waiting for any other race, ethnicity, person to affirm that I am great. Listen, for the person that's listening, you don't have to just get a bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctor's degree to prove to another race that you are excellent. I was listening to a young lady today. She said, your existence is resistance. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is be. And so there's a person out there who, Miss, I want change. How about you? Who may be saying, Ibran, I'm out there in protest, but I'm concerned about COVID-19. They might be saying, I've written letters, and I wonder if that's going to be effective. People around the world, not the world, but around the nation today, they were voting in their primary. Different elections happening. Here's what you have to know. The greatest thing you can ever serve this world is your potential and purpose fulfilled.
Yeah. That's it.
And when I see your mentoring program, when I hear you speaking, you're on that trajectory of helping other people to manifest their God-given destiny. Yep. And that right there is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, when your life gives other people the permission to be, like that, it breaks the shackles. It shifts the paradigm. It pulls people out of those emotive places that are triggered by negative experiences. You know what, Ms. Garth? None of us make it through life unscathed.
Yep.
Life happens to us all.
Yep.
It is our response that makes the difference.
Yep. Yep.
So listen, tell us where we can get the book. Tell us where we can get in touch with you. Tell us where you're happening next. Where are you going? What planes are you taking?
Wherever the good Lord takes me, I'm ready. Okay.
All right.
So what I have coming up is I'm doing a virtual book signing, a virtual book launch on June 13th. I'm gonna do it via Zoom from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. It's gonna be like an hour virtual book party. And so I'm gonna send that information out, but it's gonna be a virtual book launch. On June 22nd, on behalf of Imagine, I'm partnering with Versity Blood Bank of Michigan. I'm doing a blood drive to support COVID-19. The patients that are in the hospital that might be in need of plasma. We're partnering with the hospitals to support and give blood. 1 pint of blood saves 3 lives. And so I certainly want to get on board to getting people to support that. And in addition to that, on that same day, at the same time, I'm going to do a curbside book signing. So you can come to the event. Is going to be at Albione Community Center on the west side, on 8 Mile inside of New St. Mark's Church. And so they have a big center. So I'm going to go in there and do everything that day. So that's going to happen on a Monday, June 22nd from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m. So if you can come out, we'd love to have you come and support that initiative. Oh, and just a call to action, the book is available at www.imaginegreatnessnow.com. So if you go onto the website, you can order your book right now, and you will get a signed copy from myself and my partner, Mr. DeAndre Carter, who co-authored the book with me. We'd be happy to send those signed copies over to you. I believe that we've been disconnected again. So we'll hold off. But the site, www.imaginegreatness.com. ImagineGreatnessNow.com. Look at me messing up. So ImagineGreatnessNow.com to grab your book.